suffering from mental health don't have access to these legal weapons? Stricter background checks means that one more person would be saved. This would make a huge difference within our community. If we had stricter gun controls, we would not have lost 17 lives of our classmates, teachers, and staff members. We would not have destroyed the innocence of 3,000 high school students and damaged a whole community in Parkland and Coral Springs. If we had stricter gun control measures in Florida, 17 families would be having dinner tonight together instead of mourning for the loss of their loved ones. Today, instead of returning to our studies, instead of preparing for exams, and instead of grieving for our dead classmates and teachers, we are out here advocating for change. We are out here advocating for change because of this Capitol's failure to do our primary job by keeping us safe. Some of you said it's too soon to talk about gun control. No, it is not too soon. No, this is not the wrong time. There's no better time than now to talk about gun control. If you wait, then someone else might become a victim too. Your children might become the victims too. To Congress, you are directly responsible for every community that is lost due to gun violence, and you have the power to change this. And if you don't, then we will change you. We may be too young to vote, but soon we will be able to vote, and we will vote you out. And soon, you will be able to run for office, and we will take your place. And many students around the country can't wait to go vote, can't wait to go run for office, and to make a change, to make a safer world. You adults have failed us by not creating a safer place for your children to go to school. So we, the next generation, will not fail our own kids. We will make a change. Not today, then tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next year. Take it from us. We created a mess for us, but we will make this world safer for our children. All around the world are watching you. The people of Florida are watching you. The citizens of my beloved United States of America are watching you. If you do not take action now, then we, the future leaders of America, will. Next, I would like to announce Representative McGee, who sponsored the bill that bans assault weapons.
Clear, we're on the same page. This is a movement. This is a movement because our politicians have failed us. The adults have failed you. Those who are empowered to change the way we do things have failed you. But I'm here to tell you today, Florida, and you who are part of this movement, you will not fail because this is your moment. This is the moment that you have been waiting for. You see, we all know that every leader, including yourself, you have 4 pillars that you stand upon. And that first pillar that you stand upon that brought you here today is your faith. It is your faith that moves you. That second pillar that moved all of you to come here today on these Capitol steps is the respect for your flag. That flag that binds all of us together as one nation, as one people who are looking forward to a better America. The third pillar that you, constantly reminds us of. It's the importance of family. You see, this is a family. Marjory Stoneman was a family. This is a family affair. This is a family affair. But it is that last pillar. It is that last pillar that led me to push forth that motion on the House floor yesterday. It is this last pillar that I know that really brings all of us together and put all of this into true context. And that last pillar is our future. This is what our future looks like. You see, there will be those who claim that we are attempting to run over the Second Amendment. There will be those who say we are trying to take guns from the American people. But we are here to tell the same people that there's also the Eighth Amendment, which says it is cruel and unusual punishment to allow our people, our kids, our teachers to be gunned down in schools, on the streets. So you exercise your First Amendment right. Don't you let them stop you at this moment. This is the moment we've been waiting for. You are the cavalry we've been waiting for. So to you, let's do it. Do your sit-ins. Do your non-violent demonstrations. Do your protests. Do not let anyone turn you around. If you cannot fly, I tell you right now, run. If you cannot run, I tell you to walk. If you cannot walk, I tell you to crawl. But whatever you do, make sure you move forward.
We're joined up here, you see dozens of senators and representatives. We're here because we're frustrated. For 2 years, we have filed sensible gun safety legislation. Bans on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Closing background check loopholes. Allowing for a registry of the guns that exist in the state of Florida. Providing for taking away from guns from people who are mentally unstable or a danger to themselves or others. These bills have been filed for 2 years, and we have not received a single committee hearing on one of these bills. As I said, we're here just to let you know that there are sensible answers out there that have not been heard. So you have to help us get them heard. And what's really helping is the inspiration being provided by this next generation. And so we're going to turn it back to the students, to the survivors of Stoneman Douglas. And I'm going to call up Ashley Santoro.
I see so many people who could potentially be the next senators, who could
has begun, a movement that demands change at a state and national level. I would just like to thank Lauren Book and everyone who assisted me in making this trip a reality, because I designed this in order to allow the voices of my classmates to be heard. So without further ado, I just want to introduce Lorenzo Prado. He's the first student that's going to be talking. So Lorenzo.
Oh, no. Hello, everyone. My name is Lorenzo Prado. I am a junior, and I do not support any political party, and I'm a survivor of the Douglas Massacre. I'm here today to advocate for stricter gun laws on behalf of the 17 whose lives were ripped away from them on the day of February 14, 2018. On the day of love, our loved ones were ripped away from us in a horrific manner that should never transpire. Many would like to blame this event on the FBI's lack of action or the Trump administration. But the simple fact is that the laws of our beloved country allowed for the deranged gunman to purchase a gun legally. The law has failed us and has led the events that happened in Parkland to occur. And what we must do now is enact change, because that is what we do to things that fail. We change them. To not change the law in our time of need would be a huge disservice to the 17 dead in Parkland, the 13 dead in Columbine, the 26 dead in Sandy Hook, the 50 dead in Orlando, the 59 dead in Las Vegas. For the good of the students, the parents, the family, and the country, we beg for common sense laws that will prevent a terrorist, because that's what he is, a terrorist who invokes terror upon students and everyone upon the nation, to prevent someone like him from ever holding a gun ever again. On that fateful day of the Douglas Massacre, we lost our future, because in those lives lost lays the future of our country. On that fateful day, we lost Peter Wang, a JOTC member and a hero. He was seen holding the door open for other students to enter for safety. On that fateful day, we lost Coach Feist, a football coach, a security guard, a hero, and a role model to his child. He was seen sacrificing his life so another could live another day. On that fateful day, we lost Coach Hickson, a wrestling coach, a security guard, and to me, a hero. He was seen leaving the auditorium to check the others' well-being because he put others' lives before his. On that day, we lost Nicholas Dort, captain of the swimming team, and a hero, and soon to be Olympian. Nicholas Dort was seen pushing another student out of the way when the terrorists shot into his classroom. But I do not want to remember Nicholas Dort as the man that met his death too early, because to me, Nicholas was a friend and my captain. He was the heart and soul of the swimming team, both in and out of school, because he was friendly to all and mean to none. I had never seen Nick frown, because he was always optimistic in life. And every time I saw him, he had a smile. He had a smile when we were competing. He had a smile when I taught him Spanish. He had a smile, even something he dreaded so much, like math. I taught him math, and he would never, never frown. And before the week of that fateful day, last week, the week before that, Nick had his own fateful day. The week before that, I saw Nick get signed into UIndy for swimming so he could chase his dream of becoming an Olympian. But that is a dream he can no longer achieve because Nicholas Cruz abhorrently decided to take Nicholas Dort's life. But we can't just blame Nicholas Cruz for this tragedy because the laws of our country allow him to purchase a weapon. Nicholas Cruz was able to purchase an assault rifle before he was able to drink beer. Nicholas Cruz was able to purchase an assault rifle although he had clear signs of mental illness. Nicholas Cruz was able to purchase an assault rifle with clear signs of delinquency from the school. Nicholas Cruz was able to purchase an assault rifle with the intention to kill. On that day of the Douglas Massacre, I was a victim like everyone else. my peers dead, many performing heroic acts in their final hour, and I was scared like everyone else. But my case was different than all the others because on that day, I was a suspected school shooter. On that day, I was in the sound booth inside the auditorium. When the fire alarm rang, I decided that I would stay behind because what could possibly go wrong? I then hear the banging on the doors of the auditorium, and I run downstairs to see 100 people banging on the door. I quickly open the doors to let the people in, and I see my coach, Hickson, running inside for safety. I was scared, and I ran to the safest place possible, which was the sound booth again. And I started to pace back and forward because I did not know what was going on. And the people in the audience saw me. They saw me and they panicked because I was matching the same description as Nikolas Cruz. I had the same clothes, same color, same facial structure somewhat. And they reported me. And I was just hiding up there. I had no idea what was going on. And then the door started to rattle. And at first, the only thought that came to my mind was, I'm going to die. The shooter is going to kill me. But then the SWAT comes in, and I thought they were here to rescue me. But then as I go down the stairs, I found out that I was wrong. I found out that they thought it was me that killed the 17 people. And as I go down the stairs, they tell me to put my hands up. And I, being the fool that I was, tried putting my phone back in my pocket. And they demanded again, and I'm not trying to be one of those news stories of someone dying wrongfully because they didn't refuse to put their hands up. I just dropped my phone at that moment and kept going. When I went out those doors, I had 6 SWAT members pointing their guns at me. I was tossed to the ground. I was unjustly cuffed and held at gunpoint for the degrading and depreciating action of the disturbed individual, Nikolas Cruz. I was then put in a corner with a policewoman guarding me for the rest of the evening. I knew any move I made would be the end of my life. Throughout the entire event, I only felt 2 things. I felt fear, as I did not know my future. I did not know if I was going to be let go. I did not know where the terrorist was. I did not know how my friends were doing, and for that, I was afraid. The second thing was guilt. I felt guilty for closing the door behind me. I felt guilty for startling the audience. I felt guilty for the SWAT who had to pursue me instead of pursuing the murderer. I felt guilty for not contacting my mother. I felt guilty for Coach Hickson, whose life I thought I saved when he walked inside the auditorium, but whose life was ended when he walked out again. But guilty I shall feel no longer, because I am here to demand change from our government. Because the lives lost who shall not be lost in vain shall then be used as a catalyst for change in our country today. We will make change in this country, and if not today, tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, the day after that, and the day after that, until we achieve the change that we want in this country. Until the day that safety is preserved in all schools in our beloved country of America, we students will keep fighting for our right to live. If I had to drop everything else in my life just to make these changes happen, I will. Because to me, to let these victims' lives be taken without any change in return is an act of treason to our great country. To let our fellow countrymen to fall beside us without a fight back is to me equal to leaving a soldier to die in the battlefield. This is an injustice to our country because not only of the lives lost, but also in the loss of confidence in our government. We lose confidence in our government because we are told that nothing can be done time and time again, and we are tired of hearing that because we know there can be change in this country. Never again should a tragedy of this caliber happen in this country. Never again. And as always, be positive, be passionate. and be proud to be an Eagle. Following me, I have Ryan Dyke with his speech.
I apologize to everybody who made their way here. I do not have an actual written or prepared statement, but I am the president and founder of the MSD Improv Club, so hopefully I get something in.
What's your last name again?
Deitsch. Ryan Deitsch. Deitsch. What can I say? What can I say that everyone else hasn't already put so eloquently, that all my fellow students have surprised me with? For the longest time, I've only perceived Douglas as a school of just entitled children and those who jewel. And now I'm left thinking that these are powerful speakers. This is the future. I've seen before me my friends, people that I've known since even 3rd grade, have been standing next to me and have been speaking out against what is wrong. And what is wrong is that the life of innocence is being taken day after day after day. And it does not matter what we say. It does not matter how many people die. The legislature, those in power, have not taken action. They've been using their words. They've using political double talk as much as they can. And it's not a weapon that I want them to be able to use anymore. They can walk around any question they want, but the more they don't act, the more they don't deserve to be in office. The more that I know, me and my friends, we are turning 18. I am a senior. I'm 18 myself now. I can vote, and I know who I'm not voting for. These people that I've been meeting with, these people that I've seen, none of them have really put it into words what needs to be done. And I will say that I am a high school senior. I do not know the exact course of action to take. I do not know exactly what needs to be done. I just know what we're doing now is nowhere near enough. If I have to keep seeing neighbors die, if I have to keep seeing friends die, and I have to keep seeing other people on the news deal with this same tragedy, they do not deserve this. America does not deserve this. Humanity does not deserve this. And I'd just like to go into saying that overall the media is doing their job, and I appreciate it. But I'd like to say that during the time where we are going to funerals, where people are grieving, I know for a fact that yesterday I walked out of Carmen Centrip's funeral early because I cannot handle that type of grieving. I cannot handle being in there mourning over the loss of somebody that I have known for at least the past 6 years. And I'd just like to say that when I see a camera tracking me as I cry walking out of a church, that is not acceptable. That popularizes the idea that if these killers are out there, if they have these guns, they will use them to get on some leaderboard. I saw this the next morning after the shooting. There was a top 10 shootings in America, and we were at number 9, I believe. There should not be some rating score. You should not be able to put in a name at the end of that to say that I'm the one who shot up 19. I'm the one who shot 23. Well, I shot 50. These people are looking for infamy. These people are going out there, getting attention, and America should not stand for that. I'd also just like to say, overall, me and my friends, they have really shown me what we can do. They've shown me that everyone who's come out today, they are listening, that people are listening to this. And I'm so happy to see that people are listening, but they need to act, and we need to act. And I know we have the school walkouts already being planned. We have the March on Washington, March 24th. But I fear, after talking to representatives today, that that is not enough. That one trip to Tallahassee I knew was not going to be enough, but I don't know how many times I'm going to be having to come up here to just speak, to have somebody to listen to me. I know I've been walking into office after office after office, and I've maybe only spoken to 3 representatives, 2 of which already agreed with me. I want to see those people who have spoken out against this. I want to see those people who shot down that bill, who did not let it get past committee. I want to see those people. I'm not here for a fight. I'm not here to argue with you. I just want to speak. I just want to see your face and know why. And thank you so much for this opportunity. I'd like to introduce Alfonso Calderon.
First and foremost, I'd just like to thank everybody for giving us this platform, and Senator Rader from Parkland, who came here. If there's one thing I want everybody here today to remember about this, is we're just kids. I know myself, I'm only 16. I'm a junior in high school. Most of my worries are, what show am I going to watch at 6 p.m.? When do I do my homework? How do I fit in rehearsals for theater? I know for my other colleagues it's sports or maybe film. But everybody needs to remember, we are just children. A lot of people think that disqualifies us from even having an opinion on this sort of matter. As if maybe because we've been through a traumatic experience that we don't know what we're talking about, that we're speaking irrationally. And I want everybody to remember that is not the case. We, more than anybody else, understand the violence that comes through certain guns. We, more than anybody else, understand what it feels like to lose somebody. We, more than anybody else, understand what it's like to have a beautiful community like Parkland and have it taken away from us by the media and by everyone else and by Nicholas Cruz, who just ruined its image. Parkland is a beautiful, safe town, and it is now ruined. I know, personally, I'm probably going to live there for a pretty long time, and it's not going to be the same. It's always going to be, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that you're from Parkland. I want everybody to remember, we are just kids. Sorry, it's difficult to talk about this sort of thing, because not even more than a week ago, I was worried about a math test. I was worried about having a school show for the children in the elementary school just a road down. The way people today have greeted us, or not greeted us, as acknowledged by Ryan, is that we aren't being taken seriously enough. Now, I personally don't know the steps that we're going to have to take, but once we figure that out, we're going to take them, and you better believe we're going to take them as soon as possible. Because although we are just kids, we understand. We know. We are old enough to understand financial responsibilities. We are old enough to understand why a senator cares about re-election or not. We are old enough to understand why someone might want to discredit us for their own political purposes. But we will not be silenced. It has gone on long enough that we, just because we are kids, we are not allowed to understand. But trust me, I understand. I was in a closet, locked for 4 hours with people who I would consider almost family, crying and weeping on me, begging for their lives. I understand what it's like to text my parents, goodbye, I might never ever get to see you again, I love you. I understand what it's like to fear for your life. And I don't think we should ever be discredited because of that. I don't think we should ever be silenced because we are just children. I feel like that is powerful, and it is one of the only reasons this movement is where it is right now. I am extremely, extremely angry and sad. And I don't know if I'm going to be traumatized because of this. I don't know if I'm going to have faith in my state and local government anymore. Because what I saw today was discouraging. But I want everybody here today to know we will not be discouraged. We will not falter. We will not stop this movement. Because this is more than just us. This is everybody in America. This is for every single kid who fears for their life. This is more than Parkland. This is more than Florida. This is more than the United States. This is something serious. It is about human lives. Please, I beg and I demand that every single person in power who has the ability to change the fear that kids feel going back to school, that they do something. Because I want everybody to know, I'm supposed to be going back to school in less than a week. And I'm not ready. I don't think anybody here is ready. I don't think anybody here is ready to go back to class and just have an empty seat. And you know that empty seat is because someone's dead. Because somebody lost their lives. And I don't know how I'm going to cope with it. I've spoken to grief counselors, but grief counselors can only do so much. What we need is action. And we need it now more than ever. Because people are losing their lives. And it is still not being taken seriously. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it's going to take to get some people to realize this is more than just re-elections. This is more than just political gain. This is more than conspiracy theories and people trying to disqualify us from even having an opinion. This matters to me more than anything else in my entire life. And I want everybody to know, I personally, I'm prepared to drop out of school. I am prepared to not worry about anything else besides this. Because change might not come today. It might not come tomorrow. It might not even come March 24th when we march for our lives down in Washington. But it's going to happen, and it's going to happen before my lifetime because I will fight every single day. And I know everyone else here will fight for the rest of their lives to see sensible gun laws in this country and so that kids don't have to fear going back to school. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Sarah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Chadwick, and I'm a junior at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. MSD is not only my school, but my home. And on February 14th, 2018, an intruder broke into my home and robbed 17 innocent souls of a chance to impact the world. These outstanding and compassionate eagles left us too soon due to the lack of gun control in our state and country. This atrocious act not only broke the hearts of our community, but broke the hearts of the entire world. We cry, we mourn, and most importantly, we ask why. I've been asking that question a lot lately, and I haven't gotten an answer that has satisfied me. So we came up with a solution to the answer that we would never gotten. And it has a name: Never Again. Because never again should a child be afraid to go to school. Never again should students have to protest for their lives. Never again should an innocent life be taken while trying to gain an education. And never again should I feel guilty to be alive because Peter, Carmen, Scott, Feist, Hickson, Meadow, Jamie, Alyssa, Joaquin, Helena, Nick, Alana, Cara, Martin, Luke, Gina, and Alex are not. That is why we have organized this revolution. For them. A revolution created by students for students. Because at the end of the day, we're all positive, we're all passionate, and we're all proud to be an Eagle. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce my good friend, Sophie Whitney.
Okay, I'm gonna make this quick. Hi, my name is Sophie Whitney, and I'm a senior at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, the place I've called home for 4 years, the place that I have felt safer more than anything, the place where over a week ago the biggest thing that ever happened was probably just a good season of baseball. But for the rest of history, we will now be known as that high school where the biggest high school mass shooting occurred. With other shootings by this point, most people would have forgotten about us. But not this time. My classmates and I are probably the most determined group of people you will ever meet. People are talking about how we aren't serious because we're children, but have you heard my friends talk? We're serious. We are here to discuss with our state legislators how we can prevent what happened to us, but as Alfonso said, I'm feeling a little discouraged about that. I don't want this to happen again. I wouldn't wish what happened to us on my worst enemy, because no one should ever have to go through what we went through. 17 of our classmates and teachers were murdered. at the hands of a mentally unstable monster, something that easily could have been prevented by a proper background check and a mental health exam. An evil boy with a weapon of war took 17 people from their families. How many more people have to die before something changes? We will not let those 17 beautiful souls die for nothing because we are going to make a change. We will not give up. This is the beginning of our history. Please be on the right side of it. Help us. Help us so children don't fear for going to school. Help us so mass shootings aren't inevitable. Help us so our children, our grandchildren, and their children after that don't have to march for their lives. Help us for our 17 fallen brothers and sisters. Help us so no one else dies. Thank you. Next is Delaney Tarr.
Tarr, T-A-R-R. As you just heard, my name is Delaney Tarr, and I'm a senior at Stoneman Douglas High School. I'm a senior who, late last night, after getting in from a long and arduous trip to Tallahassee, was asked to write a speech, a 7-minute-long speech, because that was what we had to deliver to the media, to the people of the country. And I realized in that moment how exhausted I was, how exhausted we all are, and how overwhelmed we all are. And to see us listed as these heroes, as these bastions of change, it's scary because we are teenagers, we are children, and that's why I chose to speak from the heart, because we're teenagers. Because instead of writing words out of an overworked brain, I figured, why not stand in front of these cameras and show them exactly how I feel, show them that I am not a crisis actor, that I am not going off of these pre-written speeches given to me by another person. Because speaking from the heart is what we do best. This movement created by students, led by students, is based in emotion, it is based in passion, and it is based in pain. Our biggest flaws, our tendency to be a bit too aggressive, our tendency to lash out, things that you expect from a normal teenager, these are our strengths. The only reason that we've gotten so far is because we are not afraid of losing money. We are not afraid of getting reelected or not getting reelected. We have nothing to lose. The only thing we have to gain at this point is our safety. And coming here today as a teenager, full of passion, a bit too much passion, was very disappointing. As you've heard from my colleagues and my peers, we've been to many rooms, we've spoken to only a few legislators, and try as they might, the most we've gotten out of them is, we'll keep you in our thoughts, you are so strong, you are so powerful. We've heard enough of that. We've heard enough of, we are so strong, we are so powerful, because that is not why we are here today. We are not here to be patted on the back. We are not here to be told that we're great, that we're doing so much, because we know what we're doing, and we're doing it for a reason. We're doing it so that our legislators, so that our lawmakers will make a change, so that they will take us seriously, so that they will not dismiss us any longer, so they won't reschedule, so they won't push us into another room as they dance around our questions. Because we came here prepared, and we're going to come to every single meeting with every single legislator prepared. We know what we want. We want gun reform. We want common sense gun laws. We want stronger mental health checks and background checks to work in conjunction. We want a better age limit. We want privatized selling to be completely reformed so you can't just walk into a building with $130 and walk out with an AR-15. We want change, and we know how to get this change. And the bill that was not passed yesterday, that was shot down here in this building, was very disappointing. And it is a setback in our movement. We've been asked many a time how we feel about it, how we're going to go from here, and all we can say is that we're going to keep moving forward because we don't have a choice. We don't have the ability to stop, to think, oh no, we're upset about this, we failed at one thing. Because we didn't fail. The people around us failed us. And if they continue to fail us, then they will no longer be in office, because soon we will be given the ability to vote, and we will vote them out. And the people around us will vote them out. They must do right by us, or they will lose their jobs, and we have brought that up to them time and time again, because this is no longer a chance for you to just dismiss us, for you to ignore us, and keep doing whatever it is that you want to do, while telling us that you want us to be safe and you don't want anything to happen like this again, but not taking any action. To shoot down a bill like that is absolutely abhorrent. To not even give it a chance to be discussed. That disgusts me. that disgusts my peers because we know what we've been through and we know that this needs to be changed, that there needs to be some solution here. We've had enough of thoughts and prayers. We've had enough of, we're in your consideration. We're going to think about it. We're going to tell you how we feel because we support you so much because we know that that is not true. If you supported us, you would have made a change long ago and you would be making change now. So this is to every lawmaker out there. No longer can you take money from the NRA. No longer can you fly under the radar doing whatever it is that you want to do because we are coming after you. We are coming after every single one of you and demanding that you take action, demanding that you make a change. Thank you.
My name is Dimitri Hoff, and this is an open letter that I've written. To whom it may concern, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are the three fundamental ideas on which our republic was founded. 1. Life. Yet senselessly children are dying. My classmates and friends are dead. 2. Liberty. Yet we are trapped because we students are afraid of going to school, where we might find ourselves trapped in a room or closet hiding from the barrel of a gun. 3. Pursuit of happiness. Yet we are not happy about the decisions that are being made in our government. Our elected officials are not acting in our best interests, nor are they protecting the people of this country so that they can pursue that happiness. On February 14th, 2018, at 2:20 p.m., the fire alarm went off. This was the second one of the day. I had complained to my teacher and said that I wasn't going outside again. It was hot and I was tired, yet she said that we had to go. She was following protocol. Little did we know our evacuation route was taking us directly to the shooter. If it had not been for the bravery and strength of the faculty and administration, we would have walked straight into the shooter's line of fire. And even more of the students of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, myself included, would not be standing here before you today. It is nothing but luck that saved us from being killed, and this is not okay. While the people around me recognized the gunshots, all I could hear was get down, get down, get down, and shooter. Without thinking, I ran to the opposite side of campus, fearing for my life. A school that once reverberated with laughter and inquisitive thoughts now reverberates with the screams and cries of thousands of students fearing for their lives. This is not okay. Trapped in a classroom sharing a feeling of numbness and agony with my peers, our only source of information was what our teachers were telling us and the information that was circulating within the school via group chats. Guys, this is not a drill. 5 people are dead, 20 injured. This was a message in one of my group chats. That is not okay. We received videos from our friends and peers being shot and being shot at, videos that shook us to our cores. Helicopters above us and police sirens ringing in our ears, the sounds of choppers now haunt us and police sirens stalk us. 2 days after the shooting, when I was picking up my medicine from a CVS drive-thru, the cash register drawer receded and made a noise that I swore was a gunshot. I shouldn't have been allowed to make that association. That is not okay. As students, we should not have to fear for our lives. We should not have to run for our lives. We should not have to hear the sound of gunfire on a school campus. We should not have to hear the screams of our peers, of our friends, of our teachers, of our mentors. That is not okay. We are losing sleep. All we can remember are the screams and cries and stampede of feet running for their lives. Some of us are unable to stay awake. All we can do is sleep because when we are awake, we are haunted by the memories of that day, of what happened to us. We can only imagine what could have been avoided if common sense gun control had been implemented after the first mass shooting, as was the case with so many other countries. Schools were once places of learning, of respect, of dignity. They have now become sacrilege. They are now shooting grounds, and this is not okay. So I ask, Congress and Senate, what if it had happened to you or to your children? Would it take you so long to make a difference? Would it take you this long to effect change and create policy and propose laws that could stem the tide of violence? Would it? No more. No more placing nonsensical politics above our lives. No more accepting donations from the NRA, who seem to care more about their right to own a gun than the lives of American children. They protect the Second Amendment, Yet the NRA doesn't seem to realize is that it was written 241 years ago. During that interval, our guns have changed tremendously, yet our gun laws have not, and that is not okay. The National Rifle Association pushes to preserve our right to bear arms per the Second Amendment, yet what they don't say is that the Second Amendment was written in order to keep and preserve a well-regulated militia. The United States has the most powerful military in the world. There is no need to keep and preserve a well-regulated militia. We live in a first-world country that many dream of coming to. They dream of coming here because we serve and protect our citizens, yet at this moment we are not. And lawmakers are slapping us, students, in the face, and this is not okay. I implore you, Congress and Senate, out with partisan politics. Now is not the time to be fighting over whose views are right and wrong. Now is the time for action. I beseech our American lawmakers from Congress and Senate to stop slinging mud across the aisle and come up with a bipartisan solution to an obvious epidemic of gun violence and mass shooting in America. A solution that will save lives. A solution that will prevent another mass shooting like the ones at Columbine, Virginia Tech, Aurora, Sandy Hook Elementary, San Bernardino, Pulse Nightclub, Las Vegas, and most recently, my school, Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Now is the time for change. Never again will this happen in our country, to our students, to us. We, the students, will make a difference. Our voices will be heard, and we will not be silenced. So I say, students, stand up for yourselves and stand up for others. We are the future. Let us change the future, and let us do it now. Signed, Dimitri Hoth, Senior, Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, 17 years old, survivor.
We have actually one more speaker, with due respect, and then Representative Jacobs and I have a few comments, but let's hear our last speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Tanzel Phillip. I am 16 years old, and I'm a 10th grader at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. To think, last week at this exact time, I was complaining about not wanting to go to rehearsal after school and trying to think of an excuse to get out of it. That day will be with all of us and all of our parents, all of our teachers, for the rest of our lives. When we saw this stuff on the news, I wept and wondered how anyone could let this happen, how our government could let this happen to men, women, and our children. We don't want to take away your guns. We don't want to get rid of the Second Amendment. We want things to be done to save our lives. We want gun policies that prevent an 18-year-old from killing 17 of our friends. We want mental health tests that won't allow them to purchase these guns. When did politics and money from the NRA become more important than our lives? Our message is simple, and it's never again. To Marion Hammer and to everyone at the NRA and everyone affiliated with the NRA, we are not afraid of you. We will not be silenced by anything that you have to say. We are here, our voices are loud, and we're not stopping until change happens. Never again will this ever happen to any one of my friends. I will never, no one's parents should be put through that ever again. Never again. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so very much. I think that they have said more than we possibly could. And I know that Representative Jacobs has a few thoughts as we move into the afternoon session for meetings.
Thank you, Senator Book. We've had a group of kids that we've scheduled for over 70 different meetings that are taking place here in the Capitol. There's a lot of passion, as you just heard, but I want to share with you that while there is that passion and frustration that things don't happen immediately, that the expressions coming from leadership on both sides of the aisle is that we will not leave this session without sensible gun law changes, without sensible changes to mental health, without the conversation and the funding that's necessary to secure our schools and harden our infrastructure so that, as the children have said to you, this never happens again. This is not a partisan issue. While some things you may have heard today, we know that the way we get there is small steps at a time. For those of us that are on the same side of the aisle and those of us that are on opposite sides of the aisle, I've kind of been describing this as a trust fall, that we are all standing together, regardless of party, determined that something good is going to come out of this senseless and terrible tragedy. It is what I am dedicated to doing. It is what I know my colleagues on my side of the aisle. It is what I am hearing from the Speaker and from the President and from the Governor, all of whom, and many more, took the time to come down to Parkland to see what happened at Marjory Stoneman Douglas, a lesson that they are determined to see will not ever happen again. So, Senator Book, I just want to thank you for the tireless work. She didn't tell you, but she actually slept on a cot last night with all of these children, and she truly deserves our congratulations for the hard work it took to get this done. And again, this is not a one and done. This is first part of a long journey. Senator Book.
Thank you so much, Representative Jacobs. And we are going to have the kids get ready to move to some afternoon meetings. But Representative Jacobs, myself, and some of the other members, Representative Katie Edwards-Walpole, Representative Moraitis, can be available. Senator Stewart, who's here, will be available for questions if you should have any. Thank you very much.